You do not have to read. You must not read the king of the, of the... And now let's begin with... And now let's begin. But yeah, I hope you like this little, so that's what I like to do. I like, what's it called? A TV... I don't know how to talk. Like a group of, what's it called? I will talk in a minute when I finish this, when I finish the recommendation of this book, because those are the books I read on my ebook. Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here in my channel. If you're new, hi and welcome. I'm Ra. I'm very happy to see you here, and in today's video I have a book recommendation video. I have not made one of these before as such because I just haven't, but a few days ago I was talking to one of my friends and she was telling me how she was trying to get back into reading because she used to love reading and then she stopped and now she's trying to get back into it. And I told her that I would give her some recommendations if she was okay with it, and she was more than okay with it. So I'm doing this video for her so she can get some, books that she maybe wants to, pick up, because she was telling me how she tried to read some classics. And I think that if you want to get back into reading, or if you are on a reading slump and you want to get out of it, in my opinion, reading hard, well-written books like classics is not the way to go, because those books are for when you already have a routine of reading. But if you want to get back into it, or if you want to get out of a reading slump, those books, for me, in my opinion, are not the way to go. So in this video I will be sharing with you some romances, literary fictions, fantasies, murders, mysteries, etc., like all kinds of books that are very easy to read, fast-paced, easy vocabulary, and that hooks you from the beginning. Because for me, those are the books that are going to be easier for you to actually, get out of the reading slump, or if you want to get back into reading. Those are the books that I think are going to help the most. So I have some physically that I will be showing you, and others I don't have physically, so I will put the cover in the screen. So yeah, that is what this video is about. I hope you are excited to see it. If you are, like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications so you get notified when I post a brand new video. And now let's begin, because I have a pretty long list. So you hopefully can get at least 1 or 2 books out of this video to read, and I hope you enjoy those. So yeah, I hope you're excited, and let's begin with the video. Okay, so let's begin with the physical books that I want to show you, because they are quite a lot, so I can just start picking those up. And I'm going to start with fantasy, because they are the first that I have on the pile. The first one that I want to show you is Daughter of Light by Gary Kerber. This is a book that I talked a lot at the beginning of the year, because it is when I read it and when I gave it 5 stars. This was one of the best books I read a year ago, I think it was when I read it, and it was so good. It is from this author that is, just starting out, so you can, pick the book up and, support him, because it is so good. He's actually working on the 3rd book, because the 2nd one is already published, and he's also working on a romance literary fiction that I'm very excited to read whenever that comes out. And this book is a fantasy novel about Aileen, who is the last warlock in this magical world, and she's trying to protect everyone she knows, like her family and her mom. She's trying to find her, while the other 2 characters, who are Finn and Cara, are also, doing their stuff, and at one point all of their plots intertwined. Finn is the son of a king, Rain, and he is trying to find Aileen, because his father wants her dead, so he's the one who has to go find her to kill her. And then Cara used to be a worker for, the king and Finn. They dated for a while, but then they had to break up, and she is trying to become one of the best military, soldiers in the magical world. And you see them, you see them and what they want to do, and their their stories, they intertwine a few times, and it is beautiful. I really liked it. I think you can see, but I annotated it so much. It was so good. It is very easy to read, and this guy is probably one of the best authors that I have read that are just starting out. So whenever he becomes a bit more famous, he will be like Brandon Sanderson, that good. I think that this guy is gonna be the next Brandon Sanderson, and I'm saying it right now because it is so good. I really liked it. It is fantasy, and the chapters are very short. It is very easy to read, very fast paced. You fall in love with all the characters, with the world itself. I am so excited to read the second and the third one because I haven't yet. The third because it has not been out, and the second one because I have not bought it yet. So I'm very excited to continue, living in this world because the world building that this guy, Gary Corbo, made is one of the best ones I have read in a while. So I want to recommend you this book because, again, it is a great book. The next book that I want to recommend to you is Legends on Lattes. I actually talked about this book the other day at uni. And in this case, we see the story of Viv, who is, I don't remember now the kind of monster, but she's like an ogre, I think it is, and she is from a little small town from this magical world, and she moves away from there, from the past life she had, which she hated, to, become a better person, better ogre, I guess, or become a better person, and she wants to open a coffee shop in the big city, like the small city is part of the big city, right? Well, she goes to the big city to open a coffee shop, and the thing is, in this magical world, they don't know what coffee is, so she is trying something new somewhere she, is not really, known, and people doesn't really know who she is. You see the process of the coffee shop being built and how she becomes friends with different people and how some people are also, not very happy with her. And then there's also this magic rock that has a lot to do with the story. It is beautiful, it's very fast paced. You get into this magical world that is so cute and it's like very cozy magical vibes, and I love that, like fairy tale. And funny enough, I bought this book for a friend because we were doing an exchange of like a book exchange, and she bought the exact same book for me because we both thought, oh, this book she's gonna love, like, oh, this book they're gonna love because of this. We both thought of the same thing, and it is how easy and how great the novel sounds like. So I feel like that is something you should think about if you want to read this. Like, it's going to be very easy, very fast, very cute, and it's just a little cute fantasy, easy to read, and I really like it. So I think you should start with this book as well if you want to start reading fantasy, and then get into more harder books, because there are some books that I want to read that are fantasy that are very hard in world building and in character development. This book is not one of those, which means I feel like this book is available for everyone and all ages. It is also translated in Spanish because I bought my friend the Spanish version, so you can also read in Spanish in case you don't want to get into reading English that hard if you're not used to it. I'm also planning on doing a video telling you books that you should read if you want to start reading in English, and what books you should read if you want to start reading in Spanish because you're English, because I feel like those can be very useful. Pick up this book if you want to read some cute fantasy. And now let's move from fantasy to mysteries and murders, because I have quite a few. I love mysteries, murders, and those kind of books, like those mysterious detective kind of books. And the first book that I want to talk about is The Guest List. I read this last summer, I think it was last summer. I'm not completely sure, but this book is very similar to And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. As someone who is a very big Agatha Christie fan, this book is similar, but the things that are different is what I really liked about it. So this book is this is a wedding, right? Two people getting married, and they are making the marriage, the ceremony, in an island, in a weird small island in England, in the United Kingdom, and they are inviting a number of people. One person ends up dead, and so everyone else has to figure out who the killer is, and things start happening. It is very similar to And Then There Were None in that sense, but it is great because you don't expect who it is. You can see the novel from different points of view. You have the bridesmaid, you have the best man, you have the wife, you have the person who's going to be the wife, so the fiance, the girl fiance, and then the man as well, the groom, that's the word, the groom. And you see the people who's working at the ceremony, the waiters and stuff. You see the same story from different points of view, and that is why in the book it's very hard to figure out what happened and who was the actual killer, because everyone at one point is, you think at one point everyone is capable of killing who ends up dead. So yeah, I really liked it. I was expecting a bit more of it, but it was still great, and I really liked it. And it is a very easy book. The vocabulary is very easy. I'm not sure if this book is translated. I will figure it out before I upload it. How the book is written is great as well. So I really recommend. So yeah, that is this book. And the next one is this. This is, I don't know the English name. But, well, I will figure out the English name, I will put it on the screen. But this is the story of a girl who is, as always, going into, the train station to get the train to go to work. And you see how, right at the beginning of the book, this woman with a baby in her hands gives the baby to the main character, and she, the mother of the baby, jumps to the train, and the main character gets, stays just as, what is going on with the baby in her hands that she doesn't know. She's very confused, and everyone thinks, the police and the people around believes she is the one who killed the girl who just jumped, because no one saw the girl jumping. It's a bit weird, but she is trying to figure out who the girl was, who the baby is, and why she's the one who got the baby at the end. And it is very easy, as you can see. It's not very long, which is very good as well if you want a very fast-paced and easy short book. And I really liked it when I read it. I don't really remember much about what happened after that beginning, of the book, but I remember I really liked it. And it is very interesting how the whole investigation happens, because she is not a detective at all. She works for something completely different from a detective and policemen and stuff. It is very good. I really liked it. Very easy, and because it is in Spanish, it was very helpful for me as well, because it was just a little easy Spanish book to read between English books, because that is something I like to do. I like to mix Spanish and English books so my brain does not just explode. And the next one is an English book, and it is 14 Ways to Die. I have read this in a day and a half, and I loved it. It is very easy to read. The chapters are a page and a half long, and you see how this girl gets into a TV show, TV reality, right? Where she is trying to figure out who killed his mother, because his mother was killed by someone she doesn't know, and she's trying to figure out who that is. And she does that by becoming, part of this TV reality show, so people actually start to know her and try to help her as well. And it is very scary. At one point, I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. Everyone was just very suspicious. I was very scared, but it is very, very, very good. Just don't read it at night, because you will die. But yeah, I really, really liked this book. It was very scary. Don't read it at night, because you will probably get very, very scared, because at one point you're actually I was shaking of how scared I was. But it is very, very good, and it's called 14 Ways to Die, because apparently the person who killed the mother of the main character was actually a serial killer. The mother was a 14th victim, or the girl. I don't remember now what the 14 has to do with it, but I just remember the guy was a serial killer, and the 14 has to do something with the mother being the 14th person he killed. Or the girl is a 14th victim. I don't really remember now, but the 14 has something to do with the serial killer. It is very, very good. And again, the chapters are a page long, which is so good if you want to just speed through a bit, because how fast it is, you just start reading, and at one point you read half of the book and you didn't figure it out, because how much you get into the novel without you knowing. It is crazy. So I really recommend this book. And the last mystery book that I want to talk about is this book by Blue Jeans, that is called The Invisible Girl. I don't know if that's the Spanish, the English translation, but this is one of the few books that I read from Blue Jeans that I actually liked, because I read the romances, and those I didn't like. I thought those were just not for me. So when he, came out with these, I was like, okay, these are mysteries. I think I'm gonna like them. I loved them. This is the first one. There's, two more. This is a trilogy, and I read these so long ago. I think I was like 15 or 16 when I read them, so I don't even remember what these books were about. I just remember I loved them, and after reading the romances that I didn't like, I was actually in love with these. And it is about this girl who's studying journalism and criminology or something like that, and she's trying to figure out who killed this other person from the same town she's from, because no one knows what happened with that girl, and she's actually scared because she was actually close friends with that person, if I'm not wrong. And it was just a very easy book. I don't really remember much. I would probably have to reread them. I am planning on doing, I don't know if I should do some reading vlogs, like trying to reread specific books. I don't know, but I think that could be fun. But I remember I really liked them, and Blue Jeans is a very, he writes books for teenagers, which means the vocabulary is very easy, it's not hard. Of course, if it's not easy, if it's not hard, it's easy, whatever. But the thing is, he makes the books very easy and very fast-paced. You get very involved with it, and that's something we all love. That is something we all are trying to look for if we want to get out of a reading slump, or if we want to start reading books, because that is what we need. We need fast-paced books that are easy to read and that are gonna hook us. And these books hook you so much from the beginning, it is crazy. So I really recommend you this full trilogy. This is the first book. I will put photos of the other two because I actually have them, but I'm not sure where. But I will put photos of the other two books. The thing is, this is the first book and I really liked it. But anyway, that is the last mystery that I want to talk about. And now let's begin with some literary fiction and some romance, because I have a bit of everything in the next pile. And after these, I will actually talk about the books I don't have physically that I want to recommend you. Most of those are romances, because those are the books I try not to buy if I don't actually read them and love them. Because if I don't like the book, I'm not gonna buy it. Like, if I don't like the romance, I don't want to have it in my shelf. So I just rather read it not physically, and then get it if I actually like it. But the next book I have is The Song of Achilles. You all know this book was it, and if you didn't, what are you expecting from me? This book is simply perfection. Everyone that I know that had read this book fell in love with it and cried their eyes out. So this is just a great book to get back into reading, or to just get out of a reading slump. This is a Greek mythology retelling of the story of, obviously, Achilles and Patroclus. And this is a gay story, which is great because the friend I'm doing this video for is part of the LGBTQ community, which means we all we all LGBTQ plus people, we all love representation in books, and this is one of them. This is a great novel. I really like it. We all know what this is about, but if you haven't heard about this book before because you live under a rock, this is again a retelling of Patroclus and Achilles' story. They are gay in this story, and you see how they fell in love, and how the Trojan War happens, and how they have to be just friends for a while. Like, you see the relationship that they have, like, as friends in their original story, Greek mythology one. Like, you see how the Greek mythology real story becomes, more of a modern retelling with, them being actually in love and them being actually boyfriends, because it is great. And the ending is heartbreaking. Again, everyone that has read this book fell in love with it, cried their eyes out, and they are constantly recommending it because this book is just good. This is one of the TikTok books that are worth the hype and much more. Like, this is not even worth the hype. The hype is here, this book is over here. So imagine, you don't even see my hand here. So imagine how good this book is. And the next TikTok book, actually, because this is also a book I found on TikTok, I think it was, this is Red Wine, Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston. There is a movie. The second movie is gonna come out soon. They're in production of it, I think if it is. And this is a great, wonderful, beautiful gay romance between, in royalty, because the main characters are the son of the Queen of England and the son of the American's president, and they fell in love. It is cute. It is this is not they're supposed to be enemies to lovers. This is not really enemies. They're just they didn't really get along at the beginning because of a freaking misunderstanding that is stupid, and then they fell in love, and it is beautiful, and it is gays, and it is royalty, and it is drama, and I love it, and it is just so cute. They're my babies. This is another book that I really recommend. That is very easy to read. It is a cutesy little romance that is very well written, but is very fast paced and easy and cutie, and we all love gays, so why not to read this book if you're part of the community, right? Because we all love gays, we all love representation, and this is a great representation of that. So read this book, please, I beg you. And now I don't have more romances until the ones that I don't have physically. So the next two are John Green books. I have The Fault of the Stars and Paper Towns. I only read these two. I still have to read Churchill All the Way Down, and I think he has another one. Looking for Alaska. I still have to read those, but these are the two books that I have read, and these are very easy to read because they're made for, again, the audience for these books are like 13, 14, 15-year-old people, like kids, like not kids, like what's it called, like teenagers. So these cannot be hard because it is just impossible for a teenager to read books that's supposed to be, for them. Like, I don't know how to explain myself at this point, but I really like these both books. I think I liked this one the most, and the film that I like the most is also The Fall of the Stars, but Paper Towns is great. And let me start with The Fall of the Stars. This is a story, a love story from Hazel, who has a specific type of cancer, if I'm not wrong, and Garth, who also has, kind of a little problem, like, stuff they meet in a support group, and they fell in love, and they go to the Netherlands, and they have things happening, and it is very cute, and I really liked it. The movie is great, and this is just a very easy book to read. Again, it's made for teenagers, so it's supposed to be easy to read. And then Paper Towns is about Margot, who escapes from her house, from her life. She goes away, no one knows where, and Quentin, I think it is how you pronounce I think that's how you pronounce the name of the other main character. Quentin is trying to figure out where she is. So this is basically kind of it's not a mystery as such, but Quentin is trying to figure out where she is because he's in love with Margot, and he wants to actually, find her to make sure she's okay, because no one knows where she is. She apparently escaped a few times before this, big escape. That no one knows where. Again, no one knows where she is. No one wants to know where she is because she's like kind of hated. I don't remember why. And Quentin is just so in love. He's trying really hard to actually find her. The thing is, this book is great. This book is great. John Green is a great novelist for teenagers, which means if you want to get back into reading, these books are wonderful because they're very easy to read, and you are probably gonna love every single character that he created because these are great. And please also read Looking for Alaska and Churchill All the Way Down, which are the other two books I have to read, because if you like these two, those two are going to be exactly the same, as easy, as simple, as lovely, and yeah, just read these, please. They're very great. I really like them. And again, this is my favorite. If I have to choose, Follow the Stars all the way. Then I have another two books from the same author, and that is Sally Rooney. Sally Rooney is a wonderful writer that is actually working on the next novel, and I'm very excited. I still have one book that I have to read from her, but these books are great. People like Normal People more than Conversation with Friends. There are TV shows from these two books as well, so if you want to read them and then watch the TV show, you can. If you want to watch the TV show first and then read the books, you also can do that. And these are great. I liked this one more, I think I said already, but Normal People is about Connell and Marianne and how they try to be, how they are in love with each other, but how they cannot actually make their relationship work through university and through high school. Like, you see them try very hard to get, be together because they really like each other from a few times, but that doesn't work. If I'm not wrong, that's what happens. I think that's what happens. It's been so long since I read this book and this one as well. I am actually planning on doing a rereading of Sally Rooney because I actually want to love this book as much people do. And this book is about two girls who dated for a while, but then at this point they're not dating, okay? And they are invited by these two older people, like this couple, on a I think it was on a cruise or to they are invited to something. I don't know if it was a dinner or if it was to spend the weekend somewhere. I don't really remember now. But you see how they were in love, how they like you just I don't remember what this book is about. I just remember I really really liked it and I really want to recommend it to you because it is very good. The only problem that I see in Sally Rooney is that she does not write quotation marks. So if you are if you are used to reading conversations with quotation marks, that is not happening here. Like the conversations happen but with no quotation marks, which is a bit hard, like which makes the process of reading a bit harder. But I just really like these books. I want you to read them because they're great. Again, I wish I could remember what these are about. I read them a while ago and I'm actually gonna be making a rereading of these two so I can actually remember what these are about, because I really want to, because I love Sally Rooney, but I want to actually remember these books. I really liked them when I read them the first time, and because I want to know why people is obsessed with normal people more than Conversation with Friends. And so I can also read the other book that I have left from her. But that is just a whole big explanation of nothing. So just read these two books, they're great. Both of them are wonderful. Again, people like this one more, so maybe try and first read Sally Rooney, Normal People, and then read Conversation with Friends. I feel like that's going to be the easier way because that's what people did and that's what I did as well. So yeah, just read these are great. And the last book that I want to talk about physically is Oh No, Perfectly Gorgeous. This book is great. This is a very well written book. Like most of these books I told you are very well written. The ones that are not as well, I will, talk later in a minute. But this book is great. I talked about it a few times already in my channel. I really like the writing, and this is the story of this guy who writes a letter to her mom, but her mom cannot read, if I'm not wrong, because she is blind. So the guy has to read the letter that he wrote to his mother, so she figures out what is happening what is written in the letter. And through that reading process, things start, like conversations start to come up, and situations also start to come out, and he has to actually talk more about those with his mother. And it is just a very well written book. I really like this one. I want to read more from this author. I really recommend it. Maybe don't start right away with this one. Like try and read with one of the books I said before, and read this one after a bit, like maybe a couple of months after actually having a bit of a routine, because it is not hard to read. But I think that if you read one of those books that I said before first, it's going to be easier for you to get into this one. So that is my recommendation. I feel like I have not been doing much of an actual recommendation, but now I have the books I've read on my ebook, because I don't have physically, that I want to recommend to you, because I have quite a lot. So the first books that I want to recommend to you are the Emily Henry books. Emily Henry is a great, wonderful romance author. I read Book Lovers, I read Beach Read, and I read People We Meet on Vacation. I think I liked Beach Read more than the other two, but all of them are great. They're very easy to read, and because romance is not the main genre that I read, for me, reading romances is very easy and fast, but it also depends on the romance that I read, because obviously a cutie, easy romance is not the same as reading a mafia romance, because those are obviously, harder and darker and, not as easy to read. Obviously, they're mafia, but, all these books, at least all the romances that I'm going to be recommending to you now, are all very easy and sweet and just cutesy little romances that are going to be very easy if you want to read during the summer. Is great. Like these books during the summer are going to be wonderful, because they're just the typical book that you want to go to the beach with, So Emily Henry, all of them are great. Again, I only read 3 of them, but the other ones I heard marvelous things about. And she actually just published Funny Story, which is the last book she published, which I have also read marvelous things. So try and read her if you want to get back into reading, or if you want to start reading some romances, because I feel like she is a great option. And I also want to recommend you Loveless by Alice Oseman. She is a writer of Heartstopper, and she also has some other books, and Loveless is the one that I have read for now, and I loved it so much. As an asexual, that book is wonderful. You see the process of this girl going into university and not feeling and not knowing what is going on with her, because everyone is having relationships and kisses and having personal, more intimate relations with people, and she doesn't know why. She does not, like, she wants to have that, but at the same time she's like, no, that is just disgusting to me. So she doesn't know why, and so she feels so frustrated, and I know how that feels as someone who is exactly as her. She is just a great character, and the book is very easy to read and lovely, and Alice Osman knows how to write great books, I have to say. So that is something that I want to recommend to you, because I feel like that book is great. And then I also want to recommend the Slump series by Colleen Hoover. I know she's a very controversial author. I want to read her books so I know how those books are written, and also because I have seen so many people get into romances through her books, because her romances are actually, at least decently written. And I want to criticize the books and not the author. Like, those books are the only thing that I have from the author. I don't care about the author at all. I just want to read the book and criticize and talk about the specific book, not the author. So I recommend to you the Slump series, because it's the one I have read and I really liked it. It is about this girl who moves to a new state with her family, and she meets this guy that lives in front of her. Like, her house is here, the neighbor is here, and apparently the guy is actually the teacher of the girl, which is not really teacher student, not my favorite trope, but they are very cute. The guy is a literary teacher, and he also writes poetry, and she falls in love with poetry and literature through him. And then the siblings they become best friends, which means they have to be together more than normally, or than they usually should be, because the siblings are best friends. And I really liked the 3 books. The last one, I wish it was not written, but because of something that happens in it, I'm like, yeah, I feel like this is not exactly what I was planning on reading now, so let's think like that book never happened, which is also something that happened to me when I read the Summer Action Pretty series. Those romances are great, they're very cutesy, summery, easy romances, but the last book, I was like, hell no, that book does not exist in my world, and under my watch, that book has never been read. But those are about Belly, the Summer Action Pretty, okay? Those are about Belly, who always spent the summers in the summer house of the mother's best friend, and the mother's best friend have 2 siblings, they are brothers, and Belly has been always in love with the older guy, but then she starts to feel things for the younger brother. So there's a lot of drama, and it's just very teenager love, and it's a love triangle, which I don't like. But the books are good, and they're very easy to read, very summary, and there are actually, there's a show which is you can also watch. I don't really like the show, but I watched it. It's fine. You don't die if you do, so it's fine. You're not gonna cringe much if you see the show, but the books are good. They're very easy to read if you want to get into romances. Those are also very great books that you want to, that you may want to pick up. And the next books that I want to talk about are 2 specific books from Maria Zapata. I love her so much, and I have to say these books are not as easy because they're very thick, and for me at least, I feel like Maria Zapata is great, but it is hard to read as, someone who's not really into romance. And the books I want to recommend to you are Dear Aaron and Written Court and Malikan. Those are 2 of my favorites, because I have read quite a few by now, and there's a few that I do not like at all. But these 2 are very good. Dear Aaron is a book about a guy who's in the military and starts being pen pals with this girl from the States, and they become friends through letters. Half of the book is just made epistolary, which means they're all letters, and it is great how you see how they become friends and how they actually fell in love through the letters without knowing how they look, without knowing anything about each other. Physically stuff is great, and then they end up meeting at the end, and it is a great cutie story, and you know the letters are very cool as well. I really like that part of the book. And then Rhythm, Chord and Mannequin is about this girl who finished high school, I think it was, or university, I don't really remember now, but she goes on tour with her twin brother, because the twin brother is part of a band, and she goes to, you know, on tour with the band of her brother and the other group that the brother's band plays with, and it is the main singer from that other group, the one that is, you know, the love interest in the novel, who is Malikin. And I really liked it. He gave me Julian the Phantom vibe, which is so cute, and I really enjoyed that one. So I really recommend those two books because again, they're great. But again, please don't just get into these. Try to read something that is a bit easier than those, because for me at least, I feel like those are great, but if you're already a bit into, you know, reading, but those are great, and I believe those are wonderful books to start reading, or to, like, you know, start reading after a few months. Those are great. And I think those are all the books I want to talk about. As you have seen, there are a lot. And you can pick any of them, because all of them are great if you want to start reading again, or if you want to get out of a reading slump. So I hope you liked this video. I hope you, my friend, I'm not going to say your name because I don't know if you're comfortable with that. I hope you have some book recommendations now that you can actually, you know, take for you to start reading more books. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you all liked the video. If you did, like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, and now, yeah, thank you so much. I thank you so much for seeing this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.